Well, hello. I realized that if you were here earlier, just got done literally with my nostalgic Nirvana stream. But at the end of that stream, we started talking about some books. Said I was going live in 11 hours. Well, no, I'm live now. I don't know how I boomered that so bad. I think it's just you and me right now, Eric K, which is fine. I don't usually stream this late, and I don't know if anybody else is going to show up, but I'm just, yeah, I really, really don't want to. Hey, Lethal. Hello, handsome. How are you? Oh, 1 second. Sorry, I had a tiny one show up. I will let you know the second that I'm monetized, Lethal. But that's so sweet. Thank you. Nerdscape. I'm doing a Thursday night, late night stream about books and some more books and specifically just like stuff that I seem to be on like an island all by myself, and it's so many invaders. No, but they're fine. But in here we're gonna tour this beautiful library, immersive library experience. But I love to like read just about anything. But at the end of my nostalgia stream, I went off on a tangent and started talking about books and this book club and how they want me to read a book called A Court of... Oh gosh, now I can't even think of it. That's how much I'm invested in this. A Court of Throne and a Court of Rose. Oh god dang it. Hang on. A Court of Thorns and Roses. There it is. Okay. But yeah, Eric, hey, what are you doing? Like, you're modding for comics right now. Who's the third person you're modding for? You're crazy, sir. But I just got to talking about that, and these women who they're willing to pay a lot of money for okay, so how I got into this was on my nostalgia stream earlier tonight. They're willing to pay a lot of money for fantasy, but not fantasy the genre, like fantasy as in how they can live their lives for real. It's very bizarre to me. These are the women who are like pushing big time for like VR experiences and stuff like that. And I can only come up with the fact that they're very lonely and disappointed in life because they bought into this feminist lie that husbands were just anchors and it was the patriarchy. And I mean, I'm gonna quote Lethal, I guess. They just really need a good banging. Would just probably set them straight. But it's just I don't know. when I joined the book club, they were like, "Oh, this isn't going to turn into the like wine club or wine mom book club," is what they said. Like, we're not going to do the YA, we're not going to do the dark erotica stuff. Well, Soul Extraction, I mean, you can go to bed if you want to. Well, I'm not saying that, Prince Lethal, but there you go. That's what it is. So it's just, it's not something that I particularly care to read. I'm not really into like the smut romances. If there's like a romantic subplot in a book, I'm like, that's cool. I can roll with that, I guess. As long as it doesn't like deter or detract from the story. But it's really not my go-to genre. And when I joined this book club, they were like, "Oh, we want to be able to just nerd out about books and talk about like the elements and the world building and the themes and the protagonists, and if we think the antagonist was appropriate." And I was like, yeah. So I've been in this book club for like, since June. And so essentially what happens is we each, at the start of the meeting, we vote on the submissions from the previous month. So one person, so before the meeting, we have one person who does like the spreadsheet, and then we each vote, and whatever book gets the most votes wins. That's fine. This month, that was voted on, I only have a day and a half to read this book, and I'm only 3 pages in. I can finish it in like 3 hours if I really apply myself, but I kind of just want to avoid reading this book, because it's got a 19-year-old huntress who is apparently just the best there ever was, the best that ever lived. She's so amazing. And I really am not about that life. Like, I'm really sick of the teenage savior. I mean, they're always 15 or 17 or 19. Why can't we get a 16 or an 18-year-old? Like, what is wrong with the even numbers? Why are we stuck on the odd numbers? I'm just so confused. And it's just so frustrating. Like, I said this in my nostalgia stream. Jesus didn't save the world until he was, obviously, like, he was born and stuff, and like, we celebrate Christmas, of course, but like, he was 33 when he died on the cross. Jesus was 33. What is the obsession with teenage saviors? I don't get it. I feel like it was the best time of these women's lives. Like, they are the equivalent of the football jocks that never did anything else with their life. Like that stereotype you see in films. It's like these women, like, it was when they were the prettiest or had the most to offer or had the most optimism or whatever it was. But it just feels like the equivalent of a high school football star who never got past it, never grew beyond the football jock from high school. And I don't like it. Like, these people they have so much, okay, guys, you got to understand. My book took second, and it was pretty much a dead split. There's 13 of us in this book club. Well, there's actually 15, but 2 of them don't get to vote because one of them is like the head of the book club, and so she's got like veto power, which she should have used in this instance, but I digress. Man, we're stuck on odd numbers. I just realized there's 15 of us, but there's only 13 that can vote. Anyway, so 7 voted for this Court of Thrones and Roses. Thorns and Roses? Thrones and Roses. I don't know. And 6 of us voted for my recommendation, which was Dragonborn Chair by Tad Williams. And I'm just like, I'm so frustrated because I don't want to read this book. It's not compelling. It's not intriguing. It seems like very one-dimensional characters. And before anybody jumps down my throat, one-dimensional is not possible. I promise you it is. And I am reading them right now. It's so irritating when like they tried to tell me, guys, this is where I almost lost it. They tried to tell me that this book is a high fantasy book on par with Lord of the Rings. I almost spit my drink in somebody's face from laughing. It came out my nose a little bit, which I know is very unladylike, but it could not be helped. Like, they were sitting there trying to explain to me how incredible this book is and how wonderful the storytelling is. And they were like, and there's some stuff in there for us women. And so I guess, so this is apparently not technically a YA because it's too graphic. Okay. Like, thank you, I guess. I don't know. I really, really, really didn't need to know that, and it's not going to endear me to your book that you have selected because that is not my cup of tea. The whole reason that I am part of this group is because I wanted to talk like fantasy or thriller or mystery. I don't want to talk about smut. It doesn't intrigue me. I don't care. And I don't know how many ways you can say that for people to like get it, because they the whole time they're like you just have to read it. We promise you'll like it. It's so great. And then they go into like vivid detail. They're like, oh, he's so commanding and compelling, and he's like this super like dark character, but that she needs him and he needs, and I'm like that doesn't, I don't care about a fairy prince and a human huntress or a half-blood huntress. And I think they butcher her name. Like, I think they were trying, I think what the author was trying to do was, I don't know. Some form of like Freya. I still don't even know how to say it. Her name, the main character's name. I don't know how to say it. But I looked at it and I thought there's no way she named her character Freya. But I think it's like Feyre. And so they're trying to like, I don't know, because Freya's supposed to be like this warrior from Norse myth. I have no idea I don't know what their line of thinking is. I have no idea. I just know that I don't want to read it. But I have no choice. I mean, I do. Like, I probably am not going to read this book. If I'm going to be 100% honest, I'm probably not going to read it. And I'm just going to show up to the book club and I'm going to be like, okay, win me over, intrigue me, because I read 3 pages and the inside flap, because I've got the hardcover from Hardcover Supremacy. I got the hardcover from the library. I checked it out, and yeah, I was not impressed. I don't understand why this is so appealing to so many. It was just so generic and bland and boring. And I only read 3 pages. I don't get it. But this stuff is apparently like, it's sold hundreds of thousands of copies worldwide, apparently. And all of these women are flocking to it. But it's 2 very specific types of women. It's teen girls who are, just like a raging sea of hormones anyway. And wine aunts. Like, I can't, it's not even wine moms. It's wine aunts. Like that aunt who you think is really cool, but never married, has no kids, kind of does her own thing, but always seems like super jaded. Like that's literally who it is. It's teens and 35 to 45-year-old, maybe even pushing into the 50s. Like it's just I don't understand. Again, 3 pages in and I can already tell you where this is going. Like it just there's nothing, there's no depth there. I do not care. I don't need to go on a sexually tense escapade with the savior, with the teenage savior and the fairy prince who becomes enraptured with her, even though he's been alive for like ever, maybe not that long, but he's going to be old AF. And even though he's met all of these women, she's going to be the one that makes him see life in a new light. I don't need it. I do not need I don't even know what to like. If your main focus is banging the person next to you while you're on some kind of expedition, whether it's a rescue expedition or gathering intel, whatever it is that your mission is, you're putting it in jeopardy if all you care about is whether or not you're gonna get to bang the hot chick or the hot guy next to you. It's just unfreaking believable and entirely unrealistic. But these women are trying to convince me that I'm gonna love it, that I'm underestimating it, that there's gonna be so many surprises in there. And like, I guess there's a whole bunch of TikTokers. So I'm on Instagram and I follow a whole bunch of book accounts over there. Tons of like library accounts, book enthusiasts, bookworms. And I had to unfollow several of them because first of all, TikTok is the bane of existence. But there's all of these like 30-second clips, like 30-second TikToks, and it's like and all it is like why do I read? What a foolish question. I read because this world isn't enough for me. And then it like pans through all of these like fantasy settings, but like dark romance fantasy settings. Not high fantasy, not freaking sword and sorcery. No, like dark romance. Like these women need to get laid. That's kind of where we have arrived at. They need a steady guy in their life who can give it to them good. Because wow, like some of these women are just a few years older than me. And they're like, and it's like those TikToks, like I was saying, and it's like, or another one will be, lines or quotes from books that changed your life. And it's stuff like, I said this in my nostalgia stream. I'm just going to say this one again because it's the only one I can remember. Like, it's, I've lived 1,000 lifetimes, but when I look at you, it's like I'm living life new again, and I'm seeing the stars for the first time. Nobody talks like that. No, like, I realize that it is a fantasy genre, and but like, this sounds like a fetish book. And if you want a romantic line, here's one for you that I think is far more endearing, far more romantic, and actually means something and doesn't sound like they picked it up at a poetry slam competition on college night in Portland, Oregon. How about something like, I give you my word, I will never break my promises to you, because my word is my bond, and I want to be bonded to you. Like, commitment. Why does it always have to be so shallow? Like, I would much rather hear somebody be like, and not the shallow crap of, like, I may be immortal, but because you're mortal, when you die, I die. Like, no, I don't want to hear that crap. Here's the thing. When people are like, oh, I die for you. Okay, that's all well and good. I'm glad to hear you take a bullet or an arrow or whatever genre we've slipped into. But there is this whole other thing where you're willing to live for somebody, where you're willing to be part of their life and to build something with them. I think it is far more sexy to hear, I want to build a life with you, whatever that looks like, but I want to do it together. Rather than, when I look at you, I see the stars of heaven in your eyes. Okay? That is great high school pickup lines. But like, I don't understand why it's always the same lines, the same shallow things. Like, I'd lay down my life for you. Okay, great. If you're going to be with somebody, especially if they're supposed to be a bodyguard, I hope they would lay down their life for you. But there is something completely different about being willing to live for somebody. That means putting aside all your own crap, all your own BS, all your own friggin' ridiculous nonsense to be there for the person who needs you to be there. And look, I know that people are like, oh, that's such a cliche. But god dang it, it's a cliche for a reason. It works. Just tell the girl, just tell her flat out that you're the most beautiful woman that you've ever seen. Or women to dudes, if you want to be the very upfront, go get 'em kind of woman, and just simply say something to the effect of, I don't know, you're the most handsome man I've ever seen in my life. Does that work, dudes? I have no idea. I've been married for 10 years, and I dated one other person besides my husband. I was very bad at the pickup stuff, but I have no idea how to pick up a dude. Okay, that's a lot. Obviously there's a difference between picking up a guy for a committed relationship and then picking up a guy for a one night stand, which I don't do the one night stands, obviously, but I'm not saying the bar wench and you just go for a romp in the hay. That's not what I'm talking about. But I think if you genuinely care about somebody and you want them to be in your life, and you want to be in their life, and you want to build something together, and you want to be committed, and you want, like, ladies and gentlemen, here is the difference. Commitment and learning about the person that you're bonded with means you become a master in that relationship and in that regard, and how to, like, care for and about your person, as opposed to the master of pickup lines who, oh yeah, like, I could pick up any chick I want. Okay, but can you keep her? Like, your mastery skill ends at being able, like, the game can't, like, you're a one night stand. You have no idea what to do in the long game. You have no mastery there. And that's something you learn through experience. That's something you learn through commitment. So you can either be a master at relationships, or you can be a master at pickups. I mean, I'm not saying one can't, like, morph into the other, but these type of books, just, it's absolutely absurd, because if this is the stuff that these women want to hear, I mean, it's no wonder that they're miserable. It's no wonder that they hate where they're at in life, and they hate what they're doing with their lives, or what they're not doing with their lives. You know what I mean? This is gonna be your manga collection in a few years. Oh god, if I could have this library, it would have all of the things: manga, classics, oh, fantasy. I would have an entire wing dedicated to Tolkien. That is for sure. Oh no, Lethal, you don't have to feel insecure. Like, no, don't feel unsure or insecure or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, these women, the women who are reading these books and are pushing these sales and are, like, first of all, as far as I can tell, these books are filled with everything these women claim to hate. Beautiful girls, handsome men, handsome masculine men, handsome alpha masculine men. So it's not just like a dude who looks tough and, does a heel versus babyface war cry. I love you, Az. But, like, it's, from everything I can tell, it's got all the things they claim to hate. Yet they are, like, eating this up. And I swear on all that is holy, if we have to, because this is apparently a series, if we have to read this whole series, I might quit the book club, or I'm just going to read a different book, and I'll show up and nod my head, because I'm not obligated to say anything. But these books just don't do it for me. There's nothing of value. Like, when I read a story, some of my favorite tropes are, oh man, like, best friends to enemies. Because I have no idea, but just where you have two friends who have been buddies since forever, and one of them is just a little bit jealous of the other one because he always seems to be faster or smart. Like, he always just kind of comes out on top at everything without really trying or making it feel like he's trying. And so then you have the other friend who's just, like, jealous, and because of that jealousy, is willing to basically sabotage their friendship and throw it all away for the sake of an illusion, right? And I think the reason I like that one so much is because I love when the good friend, like, when the hero, the protagonist, he ends up winning. I guess that's kind of a good metaphor for the world we're currently living in, which includes not necessarily so much best friends to enemies, but just like the one person believes that the both of them cannot exist simultaneously and be happy, or that they'll ever exceed or succeed as long as their friend is still there. You know what I mean? So, um, it really like I I I understand why these people are retconning the past and trying to pretend that um stuff didn't exist before 2015 or 2016, because it's not even that they can't compete, it's that they don't want to. I'm My bar dropped down to like 2. Are you guys still there? Sorry. Um StreamYard is being funky tonight. Anyway, I'm back. Can you hear me? Are you still there? Um but like, do you remember the like do you realize that the Iliad and the Odyssey have been around for thousands of years? And that's not that's not because that isn't because they were written by Homer. Like, that wasn't because it was Homer's name. Um, it wasn't because of marketing. It's because those stories are incredible. If you've not read the Odyssey and the Iliad, so the Iliad is the Trojan War, and the Odyssey is, of course, the journey home from the Trojan War, and it's Odysseus's journey home. But the the idea that somehow, because that was written by a man, or because it was, I don't know. The stuff that I hear is just ridiculous. Well, if Homer had been a woman, nobody would have read it. If Homer had been from Africa, nobody would have read it. Nobody would have remembered that story. First of all, that's a disingenuous argument. By a long shot. But also, it's just a good story. It's timeless, it's hopeful, it's inventive. And then you get the opposite of people who are like, "Oh, well, we can't do like you can't come up with new ideas in writing because they've all been done." That's not true either. I mean, Tolkien proved he created modern fantasy. He is the father of modern fantasy. He created that over the course of his life. And he left behind a huge legacy for the rest of us to be inspired by and hopefully pick up on, for us to share our own stories with the world. But the idea that you're trapped to use trolls and goblins and elves and orcs and dragons, but make up your own friggin' mythical creatures. Well, the cool ones have been taken. Okay, so like figure out 3 of your favorite animals and then make something new based off of that. I mean, I like griffins, but it's really cool, head of an eagle, body of a lion. And okay, so maybe you do something that's like, I don't know, like the body of a dragon and what? Head of a snake? I have no idea. I guess that would look a lot like just a regular dragon with an exceptionally long neck, perhaps. But I don't know. like unicorns, and I'm not knocking unicorns, but it's literally a horse with a horn on its head. There's no, like, it doesn't have to be overly complicated or excessive. You could just pick whatever animals you like and roll with it or be inspired by it. And you know, like, I don't understand everybody. Oh god, and don't get me started on these freaking names. This one, like I said, I don't know if, like, I don't know how to say her name. I think it's supposed to be some type of bastardization of Freya, and it's like Feyre or Feyre. Feyre, maybe? I don't know. God, that'd be so on the nose. It better not be Feyre. But like, just for a minute, just for like a minute, maybe consider that there's far more to the world than just what you've pigeonholed yourself into. And it was so bizarre to listen to these women try and convince me that I'm going to love a story that I'm clearly not. And I swear to God, if there is a Riley in this book, if there is a girl named Riley in this book, I'm done. I'm so sick of girls with boy names. Can we please get off of that trend or whatever it is? Like, my God. This is, like, look, Johnny Cash, you are not. There's no boy, like, we get one boy named Sue. Okay? Please, please, please leave the boy names at the door. It's not that hard. Just for the love of God. Nobody cares. You're like the 18th Riley. I don't know how else to help you. Like, oh. See? I'm frustrated over that. Like, it's always the same crap of, what is it? Like, how can I frame this? Okay. So it'll be like, her name was misleading with her delicate brown, with her delicate auburn hair and her oval eyes and her heart-shaped face with plump red lips. One would never assume that her name would be Jack. Like, Pitch Black, it worked because she was trying to hide the fact that she was a girl. Stop naming the girls Jack and stop naming them Riley. All masculine. Can we get off of it? No more girl Axe or Toms or Troys, or where you take a name that's usually feminine, like Stephanie, and you call her, like, oh God, what is it? Like Henry out of Stephanie. I've seen that happen too. And I'm like, I just make it stop. Please. It's not good. I'm frustrated, and these women are attempting to gaslight me into believing that this book is going to be different and that I'm going to fall head over heels for it. And that it's gonna, oh, I kid you not. One of them told me it was gonna subvert my expectations, and I laughed out loud. And she was genuinely insulted. And I looked at her and I was like, the last time someone told me that, freaking Last Jedi happened. Like, I'm done with it. I didn't even go see Last Jedi in theaters because I hated The Force Awakens so much. I'm done. Like, just for the love of all that is holy, write some feminine females. Oh God, I would kill for a real femme fatale. Please. Oh my God, yes. Give me a femme fatale. Give me a woman who flaunts her, like, who uses and flaunts her assets to get what she wants and then slices somebody's throat open with the freaking razor blade she was hiding in her hair or poisons them. I don't care. Just give me a real femme fatale. I am so females. Like, I almost don't want to be I almost don't want to be a tomboy anymore. Like, for real, for real. I do not want it. That's not the one I meant to click on. Morb, what are you doing? Knock it off. But like, just all right. Mark, I got something to tell you. When you have to spend every minute of every day for, depending on your contract length, for me, it was 5 years active and 5 years reserve. So when you have to spend every moment in uniform, looking like a man, talking like a man, competing with the men, wearing boots that do absolutely nothing for your posture and completely destroy the arches in your feet, you want to be a girly girl. Like, before I got in, I was so because like I met some female Marines before I went to boot, and I was so confused. I was like, you are not what I was expecting. Like, they were done up. I mean, like, I'm not talking Sunday best or Friday night clubbing, but they had their nails they were in regs, so they were French manicured, very delicate. They were in these flowy outfits. They were in heels. They had their makeup done, and they had their hair down. And it was pretty well, like, it, and their hair looked really nice. And I was like, you're not what I was expecting. And they were like, you will understand after about 6 months in the Marine Corps why we do this. They were like, you're going to go one of two ways. And I was like, oh, am I? And they giggled. But they were like, you're either going to basically go as short as your hair is allowed to be as a female, which is 3 inches. So you're either going to buzz everything off, never wear a stitch of makeup, and walk around in jeans and a t-shirt, or you're going to get dolled up every chance you get. And they said, and even the ones who cut their hair as short as possible, most of them still get dolled up every chance they get. Because you don't ever have an opportunity to be seen as anything else except this camo wearing oorah yut kill, literally one of the dudes. And it's nice to be looked at and for people to go, oh, you are a woman. You are a girl. I'm shocked that you can pull that off as well as you do. Yeah. So, funnily enough, the Marine Corps made me appreciate being a woman much, much more. And all of the things that I got to do. And the few times, like, for the Marine Corps birthday ball, oh, God, I loved being able to get dressed up for it. It was one of the highlights of being able to go to the ball. So, yeah, I am all for having, like, I just really want tough feet. Like, there's women that can do both. Nothing says you can't be tough and wear heels. Now, you're not going to be able to kick a dude down a set of stairs in heels unless he's drunk and off kilter already. But regardless, like, there's no reason why you can't just, I don't know. Like, just do both. There's no reason you can't wear heels and shoot a guy in the face. I'm just saying. In fact, maybe even, like I said, show up in a killer dress in 3, 4, 5-inch heels with your hair done to the nines, your makeup on point, walk in, take everybody's breath away, and then literally take everybody's breath away when you set off a freaking gas bomb. Like, Please bring back Femme Fatales. I miss them. I don't know why that's not a power fantasy for more women. Where you draw all of these people in and then slice them down. That's pretty freaking devastating. Just gonna go ahead and say. And just, yeah, this whole idea that women have to be masculine and have to have boy names and have to appease all of these why-nots, I'm just, ugh. I'm so over it. Yeah, guys, this is not a nostalgia stream. This is closer to like, this is like a gray pill stream. This is me. I'm just gonna be ripping into stuff because YA is not high fantasy. I don't care what you try to pull. It is not high fantasy. I saw someone in the chat earlier say it's new adult, which is basically YA, but with more like smut in it. If that's the case, then that's the case. But this is just a straight up erotica from what these women have told me is in this book. And no leaf clover. You can find it in libraries now. There's a whole YA section. It was a marketing term. They're desperately trying to turn it into a genre of its own. And unfortunately, it's working because there is an entire section in 3 different libraries that I've been in that have a YA section. And I'm just devastated to see it there. And they all look the same. It's all the same bland, generic-ass covers with a cup or a key or a sword or a crown or a chess piece or a ribbon. Teresa has heard me vent on this numerous times. Sorry, Miss Martin Music, but like, my God, please just stop with the nihilistic, minimalistic covers. I'm done with those too. There's just, it used to be an art. It used to be a peek into the story that you were getting. It used to be a scene ripped right out of the pages. And you were like, oh, I can't wait to see where this is in the book and what the context is around it and what it's going to be. And now it's just, yes, Nick McCabe, there are also a lot of skulls and vines and flowers and thorns and shattered glass. That's also, bleeding wrists are also pretty popular. I'm not really sure why that is. That seems to send the wrong kind of message. But there you be. But yeah, and like everybody, oh God, freaking, okay, it's a chess piece. Do they play chess in the book? Is one of them a chess master? Is one of them, can one of them, like, is it a game of wit? You get into the book and there's nothing at all to do with chess. Never, not once. They don't even make, like, if it's the guy pursuing the girl or whatever, he never even states, he's like it's just a chess game. Eventually she'll be mine, or whatever lame ass whatever crap. And it's just, knock it off. Just make it stop. I don't understand why it needs to be there. I don't understand the appeal. If your book doesn't have chess in it, stop putting chess pieces on the book. Like, it's not that, if there was a book about Bobby Fischer, I would expect to see chess pieces on it. If it's a book about a vampire chasing down a fairy, or vice versa, I don't expect to see a chess piece on it, especially when no chess happens in the book. Fog and Shadow is also popular. Yes, it is. So is, like, where the protagonist, like, their whole back is to you, but their head is, like, cocked to the side, so you get, like, a profile shot of their face. Pretty sick of that one, too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, all the cover, they all bleed together. They really, truly do. And I just don't get it. You don't stand out by doing what everybody else is doing. You simply do not. And I think what has happened is, because of lockdowns and stuff like that, you have all these wine aunts who were already lonely, but now they're hyper lonely, but now they're going to drag in their sisters and their cousins and their friends and their nieces and be like, hey, I've read this book. It's really good. It's got a sexy dude in it. Let's read about it together, and then we can talk about who our favorite ship is. Guys, I'm going to have to go into a book club meeting on Saturday. And they are literally going, like, one of the agenda bullets is favorite ship. I kid you not. I was like, who is this? Why is this going this way? I do not understand. I really hope that Saturday goes terrible. I hope it's so bad that they never, ever, ever want to read these books ever again. I hope everybody disagrees. I hope it starts fights. I hope a lamp gets broken. That's what I hope. I hope somebody breaks a lamp. Just, my God. Book club is supposed to be escapism. Book club is supposed to be about stuff that is enjoyable and isn't, I don't know, political or anything like that. All right, Stieg, how's it going? 1, I thought you were asleep, and 2, I don't think you care about these books anyway because I'm basically bashing YA novels. So I can send you a link if you want. But this is really just me venting. I just really, really, really want these women to admit that they want smutty romance novels. Like, just admit that you are into romance and not fantasy. Just admit that you are into smut and not romance. Like, it's not that hard. What genre of book do you like? I really like romance novels. Oh, okay. Well, I'm more of a high fantasy book reader myself. Maybe there's a crush genre somewhere that we can, both enjoy. I don't know if that exists. I'm sure it does. I've never gone out actively seeking it, but I'm sure it's out there. Just be honest. Just say, I'm lonely, I'm desperate, and I'm willing to pay for an imaginary dude because a real one is just too much. Even though I want a real one. And I want to be taken care of. And I want to have money. And I want to have clothes. And I want to have things. And I want to do the stuff. And I want to be able to spend money and have no consequences. Because that's a thing too. Consequence-free relationships. Like, consequence-free banging is not the only thing out. Like, there are women out there who literally just, they want to be able to spend somebody else's money and not have to worry about it ever running out. Those are the kinds of women who have like 16 guy best friends and never has friend zoned all of them, but gives them just enough of a lead on that they pay for the dinner, they buy her the purses, they take her on the trips, they get her the limited edition whatever, they get her a Starbucks Frappuccino triple whip double, I don't even know if that's a drink. And I'm not saying that I don't like Starbucks. I don't like coffee. So when I'm mocking Starbucks and Starbucks drinkers, it's not because, I need to be counterculture and not like Starbucks. No, I just don't like coffee. And I can back that up with several tweets, several live streams, and Stig Kenobi, who thinks that that's insane. But just, oh my God, just be honest. For real. Yes, Lethal gets it. What kind of books do you like? Smut. Raw, unhinged smut. Hey, you know what? I would much prefer that approach. Just tell me that you, even if you don't want to say smut because you think you're gonna chase me away or something, just say you like dark romance or dark fantasy romance. I can pretty much get the gist after that. Okay, it's not really my bag, we could probably find something we agree on, but it ain't going to be what I read, and it ain't going to be what you read. But that's called compromise, folks. And that's when you grow and mature and you find new things. I don't want to read your smut. I really don't. I don't care. I don't. First of all, I like to read high fantasy because of the world building and the attention to detail and expanding on the lore. I don't think smut books care about that kind of stuff. I really don't. I don't think they could. I think they could care less. Like, if it's a scene and they're like, they burst into the bedroom and the king size bed was waiting for them, I'm gonna be like, okay, but is it like an oak poster bed with like does it have a canopy? Are there tapestries on the walls? What's on the floor? Is it a cobblestone floor? Is it a brick floor? Is it like, what am I looking at? Like, what am like, paint me a picture of the room that we are in. Is there a fireplace? Are there windows? Are there is there furniture? What am I looking at? No, they don't care about that. They just want to let's get to the banging. Like, women, just go find you a dude who will commit to you. I promise you, you're lonely. You're lonely, Karen. I'm telling you right now. You're lonely. Go find a husband. That's what's happening. Screw your biological clock is ticking. If you don't a lot of you a lot of you are past that point. Go find a man. I'm not saying just pick a rando off the street, but allow yourself to be open to the fact that you are not perfect the way that you are, and that there's room for growth, and that maybe it would be interesting and beneficial to experience growth as a human being with another human being who can help you broaden your horizons, view you in a different way, stay next to you when you lose your ever-loving shit because freaking, I don't know, McDonald's screws up your order. We can thank Ryan for that one. I don't know how McDonald's screws up your order, by the way. It's chicken nuggets or burger. I don't know how you screw it up. Anyway, but just, oh man. But you have to be worth your level of crazy. And I'm not talking like a hot crazy scale. I'm saying, do you have enough value to justify the amount of crazy that's in you? Because everybody has a percentage of crazy. It's just a question of what's your ratio. And there's just so much that these wine aunts are robbing of people. Because I don't want shallow. I don't want I don't want and I'm done with love triangles too. If you can't pick a lane, if you can't determine who you want in your life romantically, or you're gonna lead 2 or more guys on like that, there's something wrong with you, and you shouldn't commit to anybody, and you should make that perfectly clear, and then stay away from those people so that you don't send mixed signals. I am really sick and tired of this trash. I have no idea where this trope started. Love triangles have always been a thing, but it has now become an obsessive thing where the love triangle, it used to be that the love triangle was because she was the daughter, she was the key to some kind of power or prestige for one of them, and the other guy was actually in love with her. So one wanted her for what her birthright could do, and one wanted her because he loved her. And then, of course, because it's a happy ending, like she ends up with the right guy, right? Those love triangles are nowhere to be found anymore. It is, both of them are not even in love with the chick. They're like obsessed with her. Sometimes it's more than two. Sometimes there's like 4 dudes gunning for this woman or in this teenager. And they'll be like, you're so powerful and I'm drawn to you. Like, what? You can't. I know this is going to be a huge shock to some people. Like, are you sitting down? I know. Bear with me. And no, I'm not jaded. I'm just gonna, like, straight facts here. Not every guy in the world is going to be in love with you. It is statistically impossible. Nor will they be obsessed with you. I don't care how hot you are, or how pretty you are, or how hot you think you are, or how pretty you think you are. Unless you have... No, I can't say that. Unless your lady parts can grant wishes, no. Sorry. Not every dude in the world is going to be obsessed with you or in love with you or fall over himself for you. Yes, exactly, Prince Lethal. Marriage for access to her father's wealth. Sig encourages me to act on that. He is a wise man. Yes. Get in the father's good graces. So... wouldn't that make Lethal basically a gigolo? I mean, essentially. But yeah, I don't know where love triangles went wrong. But they went very wrong very fast. And they're not tropes that I enjoy reading in a book anymore, because it's not a love triangle, it's an obsession triangle. And just all of, like, I feel like it's what happens when you mix margaritas with wine and you think it's a good idea to be like, oh, well, I can drink margaritas and wine, therefore Italians and Hispanics will love me. Like, no, stop. Ugh. I don't know. I'm so not looking forward to. Usually, this is my favorite day of the month because we've read a really good book. I've usually found a new book that I would have never possibly picked out for myself, because even if the other books don't win, what I generally do is I pick up all the books that were put up for vote, and I read all of them because I used to trust these women's opinion. But now I have these 7 women telling me that I'm in for a treat and that this book is going to just absolutely change my life. It's going to revolutionize the way I view my marriage. I sincerely doubt it. Like, I can't. I just don't understand. Like, it's not good writing. It's not fun. It's not, there's no mystery. There's no nuance. It's all very one-dimensional. And I want depth. I want intrigue. I want meaning. I want a foundation. I want something that is so concrete. If it comes off of those pages of the book, it could be real. A story that is so immersive that you have to pull your head out of the book and bring yourself back to reality because it's just that good. I just really, really, really want good stories. Blackest Night, you have a great night. It's been fun. Thank you for everything. Pack supplies. Are you talking to Lethal? She doesn't exist. Prince Lethal, she doesn't exist. I'm gonna tell you that right now. She's not real. Watch her be a character in a book now, though, because somebody's gonna be listening. But check Twitter. Why am I checking Twitter? We do the things. But the average age of the group, Adiga, so myself and 2 others are late 20s, early 30s. The rest of these women are pretty much in their mid 40s. They're early to mid 40s. The head of the book club, she wanted to be called the book mistress, and thanks to Lethal, and 10 years in the Marine Corps, I was like, you don't want to go by that name, I promise. And she's like, why not? And I was like, trust me. I was like, I don't even have that dirty of a mind compared to most of the dirty ones that I know. So you probably shouldn't call yourself that. And she was like, oh, whatever. And I was like, okay. But yeah, so she's in her 50s. Everybody else is in their 40s, and then, like I said, myself and 2 other we're in our 20s and 30, late 20s, early 30s. So yeah, see Lethal, see how you are. Also, it kind of sounds like a Sailor Moon villainess, like, because I'm not gonna lie, some of the older like the English dubs especially, they had some cheesy villains. But this woman has 2 different exes paying for the phone bill and her car payment, probably. And I'm not about that life. Hey, Stig, check Twitter. I can speak, I swear. Okay, yes, I will float Book Baroness to her later, because right now she's just going by the librarian. And I told her we're going to get copyright struck because there's actually a bunch of shows. There's a TV movies and a series called The Librarian and the Librarians, which I absolutely freaking love. But yeah, Book Baroness could probably roll with that. Book Mistress does not work. But I'm just Soul Extraction. You have a great night. Thank you so much for being here. Lethal, I swear, it's just a regular book club. You're supposed to just read the books and talk about it. So, like, we have agenda bullet points, and essentially what you do is we have the intro where the person whose book got selected starts out the book club meeting and talks about why they chose the book, what it means to them, and what is their number one takeaway from the story, both good and bad. So that's how every single one starts. And then we have agenda bullet points. Like I said, one of the agenda bullet points for this weekend is your favorite ship. Ugh. Like, my soul died when I read that agenda bullet point. I don't want to. I don't care. I don't care who's sleeping with who. Like, I don't care that Lethal and Stieg probably have a very weird relationship going on somewhere.
The bullet point should be between their eyes. And Lethal and I have a very very masculine relationship across the world.
I'm glad to hear it. With lots of, you're in Norway and he's in Australia, so
yeah,
it's good to know. But yes,
always gotten along perfectly.
I think that's because you two are just literally, he's the younger version of you. Except he's the Prince of Earth and you're the King of Norway. So there's that. But I am not up for it. But I wanted to get, so Cross Purposes said for $5. Good night. Good luck with that book if you read it. I think you should. Then you can critique it in detail for them and make even more of a good impression with all these points. Yeah, but then I have to read it. I'm just not looking forward to it. And then my Prince Lethal donated for $5 says, coffee is life, but some simp bucks for the great Lady G. Hey, you know what? Prince Lethal, like I said, you need to find you a girl who doesn't like coffee but loves the smell of it. So she makes it because she loves the way it smells, and then you get the benefit of drinking all the coffee.
I don't think you understand how much $5 Australian actually is. It's more like 5,000 US dollars because of the oppression going on in Australia.
Oh my gosh.
He probably gave you a month's wages.
A month's wages?
Yes, it's Charles Dickens-ish down there, you know? So that's probably, you need to be extra thankful.
I will be extra thankful. Thank you so much, Lethal. It means the world to me, just like you.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
How hard was that? I didn't even try. That was just natural. Like, means the world to me, just like you. Put that in a romance novel. Not that I meant that romantically, Lethal, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just stop forcing everything. You're not Shakespeare. Stop trying to be.
Oh. Don't shake your spear.
Yeah, don't shake your spear. Oh, I'm just, Stieg, I'm so upset. Like, I don't get why these women have to, like, everything has to be a ship. Everything.
Well, it's like what I said earlier in the chat. Usually the shippers read books where the leading lady is pretty much a blank slate with no personality, because she's a self-insert. You could just insert yourself into that character, kind of like the one in Twilight. So it has more to do with narcissistic fantasy than the quality of the writing.
It's stupid and it should stop. Like, desperately, it needs to stop. Because I just, much
what does UWU mean?
It's okay, so look at it more of like a face with like paws in front, like your hands are doing like you do like it's an anime type face. At least it's how I've always used it.
What?
It's supposed to be a cute face, like a cutie face.
I don't see it. Is it supposed to be like an emoji popping up?
No. It doesn't turn into an emoji. It's just like a. I don't know how to explain. Like it's not a puppy face, but it kind of is a puppy face. You don't see it?
No.
Like it's a.
But
cute
you know,
face?
I have to admit, I'm shit at anime. So.
Well, yeah. I love you, Lethal. Have a good night. Thank you for coming by. That means the world. But yeah, here we go. Stunning and brave Megatron. See, it's a cute puppy face.
Oh, it's like a literal puppy.
Yeah.
I thought it was, supposed to be like an anime girl doing a puppy sad face.
Well, yeah, it is an anime girl doing the puppy face, but like it's the puppy face. But okay, so Sam McCabe says there's two camps. people who find their way into stories and characters, and people who demand stories and characters relate to them. Narcissists.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
And we see it every day now. It's
we do.
People showing up going, yeah, I'm a huge fan of this franchise. Can you please change it so it applies to me personally? Otherwise, I'll cancel you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what's happening. And you know what? As long as the people who have the rights to the franchises have the normies on their side, they're always going to win.
Mm-hmm. I really would love for one of these smut books to get adapted and be nothing like the book, so that these pricks could figure out what they're doing to everybody else.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hope a lamp breaks on Saturday.
What happens on Saturday?
My book club.
Oh. And they're talking about shipping?
That's one of the agenda points, yes.
Holy shit.
Favorite ship. Apparently there's more than one.
You need a better group.
My group was fine. And then we added this new girl. And she's 47, divorced twice, has like 2 kids from one marriage and 2 kids from the other marriage, and is like, I've sworn off men because they're just a disappointment. So the only men I really want are in the pages of the books that I read.
Which is probably why she got divorced in the first place.
Unrealistic expectations and bitterness. Yeah. Those 2 usually are a pretty quick terminating factor, for sure.
Yes, Celebrity Jeremy has a good idea. Tell him your favorite ship is the Millennium Falcon.
I like that. I'm going to do that. Yeah. I am going to do that. And then maybe she'll break her own lamp. That would be hilarious. Oh man. I'm just... Watch them create a new Marvel supervillain that's made out of mirrors so that anyone can see themselves in it. Oh man, don't give them ideas. That's actually pretty brilliant. I'm just saying. Like, that's actually kind of brilliant.
That is a good idea.
Soul Assassin, I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, because I know a 28-year-old who has been married 3 times. Granted, her first husband, she got married when she was 18, and her husband died a year later in a car accident. He got hit by a drunk driver. But then she married basically the rebound guy, and he was an a-hole, and she's on her 3rd marriage, but she says she's happy. But yeah. So I try not to judge too harshly, but yeah, I think she is the problem, because she's come into my space now and like ruined it severely. I don't want to read this crap. If she wants to read these books, she can go make her own smut book club. But she's friends with
invited her, though.
One of the other ladies who said that she was a really good person and was lonely and was looking for a place to make friends. So she invited her to come along, and now I have to read a smut book. And I don't want to.
I'm reading a book about a dark elf.
I'm sure there's dark elves in this book, or dark fairies, or whatever. But yeah, I'm so freaking over the YA stuff. And I don't care if they call it like, oh, it's not YA, it's new adult because there's more graphic whatever in it. Like, it's all YA. It is. It's just...
You know what, though? I'm a big fan of the old Star Wars EU, but even that one had a bit of shipping in it. Because before they introduced Mara Jade, you had every other writer trying to come up with Luke's girlfriend, right? So he had like a lot of potential love interests for a while. And then Mara Jade showed up, and that was it. But it was like everyone wanted to be the one who created Luke's girlfriend, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
There was a bit of shipping in the Young Jedi Knight stuff too, especially later on when they got older.
I'm just.
Oh, and the Wheel of Time.
Oh, yeah.
Halfway through the Wheel of Time, as they were published, there were people going, "Oh no, this lady is bad for Perrin. He needs to go with this one." Stuff like that. Or Rand having 3 love interests. Which one will he choose?
Yeah. Again, that's not my bag. Like, pick one. Just freaking stay loyal and stay dedicated. It's not hard. I don't know. I'm just. I did say I didn't want to read smut books. I said this sounds like a smut book, and they assure me it's not a smut book. Telling you it's a smut book. And
what's the name of the book?
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Damn, that's by
Sarah J. Maas or Moss.
I got a book for Christmas, and it was one of those. Yeah.
What?
My dad bought me a book because he.
Yeah.
It was in the fantasy section, right?
Oh, no.
So I have book 5, so I can't read it until I have 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Yeah, I didn't know what it was about.
Oh, dear. Okay. Yeah. Well.
And I kind of have to buy book 1, 2, 3, and 4 and read them because book 5, because it was a Christmas present, right?
Oh, man, you're in worse. You know what? Maybe you'll like the books.
I'm not a huge fan of shipping. So, yeah, damn it. I thought it might be a good series or something. Because,
Hey, you know what? Don't let my opinion get in the way of you discovering a brand new book. Like I said, maybe you'll really enjoy it. Here, I will read you the inside slip cover description because I've got. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. When 19-year-old huntress Feyre, I think they tried to bastardize Freya, and it came out Feyre.
Yeah, but she's also Faye, probably, right?
Probably.
Really
there's Faye in here. Oh, don't worry. Hang on. Ready? When 19-year-old huntress Feyre kills a wolf in the woods, a beast-like creature arrives to demand retribution for it. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she only knows about from legends, convenient, Feyre discovers that her captor is not an animal, but Tamlin, one of the lethal immortal fairies who once ruled their world. As she dwells on his estate, her feelings for Tamlin transform from icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns through every lie and warning she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But an ancient, wicked shadow over the fairylands is growing, and Feyre must find a way to stop it, or doom Tamlin and his world forever.
Oh. Yeah.
I read that as epically as I possibly could.
Yeah,
Are you intrigued?
No, I'm not.
Tell me again that this is a high fantasy book. Oh, I'm gonna track her down.
It might be, but it doesn't sound like it.
No, it's a dark romance fantasy.
Yeah, it's basically just the writer wanting to be shagged by a fairy, so she writes a story about it.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Some hot and heavy, passionate stuff going on in that book. Look.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that romance novels are bad. I am simply saying that I don't want to spend 200 of a 250-page book reading about how they're licking each other's bodies or whatever.
You know what? It's probably just, well, it sounds like 50 Shades of Grey because he's kidnapped almost.
I guess.
So
I'll probably
Narnia plus 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, don't taint Narnia like that. If anything, this is more Interview with a Vampire.
Thomas.
I don't know. They're pulling heavy from Norse mythology, like Feyre, Freya. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, right, Kristen? Like, that was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I am like Brian. I am. Read the first 3 pages of this book, Stig. Just read the first 3 pages of the book, and like, I
feel bad for my dad though, because he probably thought it was good.
I'm sure he did. You know why he probably thought it was good? Because on the cover of this book, it says "Perfect for George R.R. Martin fans."
Yeah, probably why he bought it, because he's the one who got me into reading George Martin.
There you go. Your dad had good intentions. I don't think he knows what he handed you though. And who knows? Maybe you'll really like him, Stig. Maybe this will be the one that does it for you.
No,
it's not working for me though.
I don't think so. I've recently rediscovered Conan novels, and I'm having a blast with them.
Yes,
especially the ones by Robert Jordan. He does a terrific job with Conan. And they're available on YouTube for free as audiobooks.
That's yes, I remember you telling me that. I have got, like, that's going to be what I put in for next month's vote. This week's vote is...
holy shit.
What?
Let them read Conan the Magnificent. They're going to lose their shit. Or Conan the Triumphant.
I don't think most of them would, because a few months ago we read it left me. It's crap. It was a Hercules book. But anyway, like,
well, you know what happens in Conan the Triumphant? Spoiler. Female, a priestess, evil priestess, power hungry. She's pretty much sworn off men. She only sleeps with one guy for basically to lead him on, because he's a sword master, so she could use him. But she encounters Conan, and later on there's a chapter where she is pissed off at herself because she's trying to do a ritual, and she keeps having lustful thoughts about Conan, and he's messing up her magic ritual. So she's basically raging because Conan made her horny. And then she tries to use like a spell on him to
fascinating.
Get him enticed. But she underestimates the prowess of a barbarian, and he basically, to put it mildly, he shags her brains out. That's every feminist's nightmare happened in that book. So yeah.
Hang on one sec. My mic is... Hold on. I'm gonna unplug it and replug it. Sorry.
Well, sounded good to me.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, anyway, every feminist's nightmare happened in that book.
Yay. Maybe it'll chase... I'm just gonna call her Karen. Maybe it'll chase Karen away. Like, my recommendation for this weekend was actually going to be the Nathan Drake series. But Conan is good.
Conan are they're easy reads. Very easy. Straightforward adventure. Usually with 2 or 3 plot lines coming together at the end.
Yeah.
You
mean a story that like has a satisfying ending?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I miss those too.
They're on the cheesy side. It's classic sword and sorcery. Conan absolutely borders on being a Mary Sue. But it's done well. That's the thing.
Hey, you know what? if you like, tropes are tropes for a reason, and it's not about trying to outdo somebody else on the trope. It is about writing the trope well for you and for your story.
Yeah,
So,
there's actually something to be said about stereotypes, because stereotypes are familiar, you
mm-hmm.
know, even if they're overused and all that stuff. Having an evil wizard always kind of works, even if it's been done to death, you know.
Exactly, but it
You
just
can
depends
still,
on how you present it.
yeah, yeah, and you can have a big dumb brute. You can have a femme fatale. All of those are stereotypes. They've been done to death.
We don't get
But
femme fatales anymore. We get a strong, independent woman who bashes your head in with her bare hands.
yeah, even though she looks like she can't even lift 5 pounds.
Yeah. I am so disappointed in modern writing. It's not even funny.
Celebrity
But
Jeremy saying it didn't think he was gonna hear Conan be called a Mary Sue. Well, um, in a sense, he is, because every woman is interested in him right off the bat.
yeah, but he's Conan.
Yeah,
If some if some dude in a loincloth wielding a giant ass sword with a skull on his head who looked like he could bench press a bus walked in, I'm married and I would still probably drool.
yeah, but he killed that swordmaster when well, Conan was 22, I think, in that book, and he had worked as a mercenary and a thief, so he wasn't a sword master himself, but he killed him in half a page. And I'm like, yeah, that's a bit much. You should have a little bit trouble with a sword master, right? But nope. But
Yeah, it.
in terms of Conan, it's supposed to be, well, Conan back in the day was pulp, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was supposed to be like that, you know, Conan, Solomon Kane, stuff like that. It was pulp fiction, actually.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of pulp nowadays, like hardly ever. At least nothing that's like widely advertised. Um,
No, no, I think it's I think it's today's audience don't even know what it is. You know, if it's not part of a franchise with a big well-known logo, they don't know what it is.
yeah,
Which is
I'm
this is a result of people having not gate kept, you know, for
yes.
for the last 2 decades, and we're seeing the results now. Like I said, the normies have all the power.
Mm-hmm. Because they're a higher number and they don't pay attention to detail and they don't care about the in-depth lore.
Yeah, which is
And
why I think the Lord of the Rings show that's coming out, it's going to get a lot of stick. Absolutely, but I don't think it's going to flop either, because you have the normies.
mm, I don't know. I think I think what's going to be really telling is what happens with the House of the Dragon. So people were already pissed off about Wheel of Time, and I'm talking normies were pissed off about Wheel of Time and that adaptation, and most of them didn't even really know what was going on. I think that if this Game of Thrones spinoff
Oh,
is
people are going to
bad,
watch it. Definitely. I've seen piles of people who were bashing, the dreadful season 8 of Game of Thrones.
mm-hmm.
Uh, and they only got pissed at season 8, even though season 5, 6, and 7 are just as problematic, actually. But they bashed season 8, and yeah, it's ruined, blah, blah, blah. Then House of the Dragon is announced, which is going to be a prequel to the show, not the books, the show,
Mm-hmm.
which means season 8 is canon to that story. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to give it a chance. Since it's not Game of Thrones, it's different. I'm like, no, it's part of Game of Thrones. So it just, yeah,
I don't
season
know. I
8
think
of Game of Thrones is forgotten.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people are so desperate for something that at this, like, you have so many people. You have people who have reached levels of apathy. You have people who have reached levels of delusion, and then you have the people who are so desperate for something that they're willing to, like, take anything. Hey, Adiga, you have a good night. We're gonna wrap up here in just a few minutes.
Sleep well.
Too.
Well,
Yeah.
I've been trying to get people to, if everything in the future looks woke and shit, turn around and go back.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Wheel of Time novels. You have all kinds of great TV shows that you probably didn't even watch because you didn't have time.
Yep.
And they're finished, and they had good endings.
Mm-hmm.
Quite often you have piles of seasons too, and older comics, older movies. That they're still there. They're not all of a sudden bad just because they're 10 years old or 20 years old.
Yeah, I think for whatever reason.
Dragonlance, that's 200 novels. Granted, not all of them are great.
Yeah.
But the main ones are pretty damn fun.
Mm-hmm. I think the issue is that, like, no, they push this idea that nobody's reading that 200-year-old whatever, and I need to be able to talk about my books with somebody, or I want to know what everybody, like, I guess it's called FOMO, like this fear of missing out. And
Yeah,
so
it's
people will do things that they don't want to do, and they will say things that they don't want to say because they're desperate for that, like, sense of belonging. It's just all very bizarre to me because I've never functioned that way, but I've never seen people, like, in my life who function that way either. They have their opinions, I have my opinions. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, and, like, we all move on.
It's that word I came up with a while ago, fan trenders.
Yeah.
Which is people will all of a sudden become big fans of something when it's trending.
Mm-hmm.
I see people jumping on the wagon and bashing the Lord of the Rings show, and then people I've known for 4 years, and I've never seen them mention the Lord of the Rings once. So how big of a fan were they? It's basically following trends, for good or bad.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole, like I said, Saturdays, my book clubs, I usually look forward to them. I'm not looking forward to this Saturday. I'm sick of the dark. Oh, that's the other. Who the hell came up with, this is another agenda bullet. You ready for this one? Freaking morally gray.
Who's that?
That's what's morally gray. Oh, I'm so happy.
Oh, morally gray. I thought you said morally
no
gray. I thought it was a person.
Yeah, no. Morally, like morals, like morally gray characters. First of all, that's just humanity in general. There is no human being who is a paragon of morality. Like,
I mean,
we're humans.
heck, Conan. He's morally gray all the time.
Yeah, no.
Morally gray is nothing new. It predates Tolkien.
Yeah, but you know what they are interpreting it as now?
Edgy.
No. Nope. Morally gray villains. Or morally gray
Oh,
heroes.
yeah, so you can identify with a villain.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, he slaughtered 1,000 people. He burned down cities.
Kylo Ren.
But he, sure, yeah,
he blew up 2 planets.
Yep.
Because he was emo.
But he stopped me from falling off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
So he's not all bad. What?
Yeah.
No. No, 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 no. That's
it's like
not
Hitler
how this
saving an
works.
injured bird.
Huh?
It's like Hitler saving an injured bird.
Mm.
Oh, he's not all bad. He fixed a sparrow.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, the morally gray villains are
like, just say you want a bad boy and be done with it. Say you want a bad boy who's actually not hard. That's what you want. You want a bad boy, not a bad man. You don't want someone who goes hard in the paint and slits people's throats and bashes people's skulls in. Unless he's doing it for you.
It's about women wanting to save the bad boy.
Yeah, no. I'm done with that. I want my golden boys. Where are my golden boys? And for some reason, now whenever I see golden boys in any type of like book or whatever, they're like losers, or they're goofy, or they're weak, or they're like, no, what happened to paragons? Superman is not goofy. Superman is not weak.
Yeah, or He-Man. Well, granted, Prince Adam is a bit goofy though. But
yeah, but he's still a capable individual.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I am so sick of morally gray. Give me a clear-cut bad guy and give me a clear-cut good guy. Give me my golden boys.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying someone who intentionally makes an evil decision, like, they're like, well, you just said that, like, they're human or they're mortal or whatever. Like, they're gonna make mistakes. You're missing my point. I'm saying where the golden boy makes a decision and there's consequences and stakes for that decision.
Which is what fantasy used to be.
Yeah, and he now has to, it's part of his character arc and his development. He now has to figure out a way to correct it or overcome it, or, deal with, like, and it doesn't even have to be that big. It can be something like the advisor to the father. So say it's a prince and you've got the king as his father. He's a young prince. He's 12, 13 years old. And the advisor to the king says that, your days of childhood are over. It's time for you to start behaving like the crown prince of this kingdom. No more unlocked windows. No more sneaking out and leaving the...
Oh, you know what? The stuff you're asking for?
Stuff like basically setting up.
Raymond Feist's books are stuffed with that.
Yeah, I know.
That's everything you want.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have the protagonist who thinks he's making a decision on his own, thinks that he's being, like, rebellious or something, and he's like, I'm going to sneak out one last time, just to prove that I can, which, of course, is what the traitor was waiting for. And now lets the army or the bandits, whatever it is, into the castle, and they kill the king and they burn the castle. And now the prince has to come to terms with the fact that his decision to act like to act like a child, and because if he had just listened to the words from, like, if he had actually followed that advice, then you wouldn't be in this situation.
Let's say that the prince keeps sneaking out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he promises not to do it, but he does it one last time.
Yep.
And he leaves the window open.
Yep.
And an assassin creeps through and kills the king.
There you go. See? Like,
yeah.
These are, and it's because of it doesn't make him a bad person.
No.
It's the consequences for his decisions and his actions. Like, he didn't go hire the assassin to kill the king. That's not what happened. But through his decision-making and through his action, it led to the king's death. It led to his father's death. Like, there's all of these things. There's all of this depth and this nuance. And, like, you could have him where he's blaming himself, where he's trying to come to terms with the fact that it was him that killed his father. Like, that's all part of growth and development and arc. And are you going to give in to that despair and choose violence and anger and darkness? Or are you going to listen to the lessons that your father taught you and realize that you made the mistake, but you're not the one who, laced the poison or shot the arrow or used the knife?
It's basically, it's not that long since we had it, because Iron Man, first Iron Man, is basically that.
Mm-hmm.
And if a character never screws up like Ray, there's no room for growth, because there's no almost
you start at perfect and you end at perfect, and you're perfect all the way in between.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's just,
it's like a blank plate, or rather you're expecting a good dinner, and then there's like, I don't know, 4 peas and a mushroom on the plate.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree with that. Because I hate, and I don't know why people think it's a compliment to say, like, subvert your expectations. I don't want to be subverted. I want you to exceed my expectations. I want you to look at the bar that I have set and laugh and say, that's not even a challenge. And then just blow past whatever my expectations were. That's what I want. I want a story that is so good and cares about character development and depth and lore and world building and all of the interconnectedness of the story itself and how the characters interact and what parts they play, and why does the old lady at the beginning of the first book, like, why was she there? What's her purpose? Oh, she's back in the third book, and you find out that she was a enchantress or a sorceress, and because you simply picked up her walking stick for her, or you shared a crust of bread, she's going to assist you in this quest or in this leg of your journey because you showed her kindness. Like, that's another huge trope. You show some random stranger an act of true kindness with no expectation of any kind of reward or like something that you're going to get out of it. You're just truly being a genuine person trying to help another. And then you, like, consequences is usually you think of it as negative, but in this case it's a positive because it's like, I'm going to help you. You helped me when I was the beggar woman on the street, so now I'm going to help you.
It's actually something that goes all the way back to old fairy tales.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So it's the idea that the idea that these tropes are overdone or are not like they're tired or whatever. No, it's just how you present them. It's how they work in your story. That's what this boils down to. It has nothing to do with the fact that the love triangle trope has been done to death. I would be fine with a love triangle if it's like I said, if it's not with everybody being obsessed with her. Like, there can be love triangles where it's 2 women and a guy, and it's almost the exact same thing where, like, one woman just wants to be the princess and have the prestige and the fame, and basically, like, she does the princess wave and all of the subjects clap and adore her. That's what she's after. And then you have the other one who is genuinely in love with the prince and cares about him and wants to see him be a successful king and lead his people well and really loves him for who he is. Those
which is kind of what you get in The Witcher, actually, with Triss and Yennefer. Even though Triss in the book, you know, in season 2, when Triss wanted to sleep with Yennefer, with Geralt, and she didn't tell him that Yennefer was alive. In the book, she sleeps with him because she just lied to him, basically, saying, you know, letting him think Yennefer's dead. But they didn't have that in the show because you can't have a woman do a bad thing, right?
Correct.
So Triss, although a great character and one of my favorites, she did a shitty thing in the books.
And good characters, like we've been talking about, can do shitty things, but there's usually and should be consequences for those actions. But if you do something like you get up and you bolt the window, or you mention to the captain of the guard that you bumped into a strange guard that you'd never seen before that night, and you were unaware that he'd hired any new recruits, and then the captain of the guard can be like, I didn't, and then they can put the castle on lockdown until they root out the traitors and figure out what the plan was and stop the bad guys. Like, your actions, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So, like, I know that that's physics, but essentially, like, your actions have consequences. You leave the window open, the assassin gets in and kills the king. You sneak out of the castle at night, you get kidnapped and held for ransom and probably start a war between two nations.
You could actually make it even more interesting, though. Have the guy who sneaks out actually ends up saving someone while he's out, and then when he gets back, he realizes, shit, the window was open and the assassin snuck in and killed the king. Then you'll have an extra conflict because he also saved someone, but someone else died, right?
Yep. That's very Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man scene where he lets the thief run by, and then that guy kills his Uncle Ben. So like, it's just, that's what we're saying. Like, these people seem to think that protagonists, specifically female protagonists, can never do any wrong. Every decision they make is the right one. There's no consequences. There's no stakes. Nobody ever gets hurt. And they always do the exact right thing. That's boring and impossible.
Also, you know, you see it in Star Wars. Leia doesn't give up the rebels. Her planet gets destroyed.
Yeah. Alderaan's just gone.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, you can't continue to just sell the shallow lies. Like, it's not gonna last. These stories aren't timeless. I don't think anybody is going to be talking about this Court of Thorns or Thrones or whatever book in 100 years like they are about Tolkien. I genuinely don't think they will.
I would agree with you, but the general audience today are so dumbed down that, you know, stuff that would have been considered a 2 out of 10 by normal people back 10 years ago is now being hailed as a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
which is
I don't even know, like I said,
insane.
I don't even know if it's the audience has been dumbed down. It's just that there is the FOMO thing, but also just like the marketing. Like, what we're seeing is the sum of years of girls being told to, like, that they're perfect the way that they are, that if a guy really wants you, he's going to fight for you, but he's never going to push you to do something that you're uncomfortable with or that's out of your comfort zone or forces you to grow in any measure. And then in the same breath, you're telling boys to stay away from girls and to not be masculine, to not hold traditional values, and that
they're not even
if
allowed to
no
look at
means
girls
no.
now.
Huh?
They're not even allowed to look at girls now.
Yeah.
I mean, every video game character and all that is covered up.
Yeah, I would say the insanity has peaked, but I think there's still a lot more insanity left.
I was. You know what? Back in the day, when Mass Effect came out, the role playing game sci-fi, there is an optional romance in it, and if you complete that one, you get a 3-second glimpse of a naked ass. And Fox News went nuts over that. That was horrible. How can they show this to our kids, right? 3 optional seconds in a 50-hour game. That was a problem. Now it's been flipped because they did the remakes and they removed the butt shots because the lefties wanted it.
Yeah.
Well, the conservatives are like, where's the butt shot? So it's completely flipped.
I don't even think it's completely flipped. I think it's the fact that conservatives with voices are no longer old, prissy, uptight individuals who are Puritans. Conservatives now are like fiscally conservative, hold traditional values, but recognize that there's a time and a place, and in a video game that's rated M for mature or T for teen, I can't remember, a 3-second butt shot does not matter. And we've grown to...
The young liberals were all for that butt shot back in 2008, I think.
Yeah, but now it's problematic.
Yeah, now the same people are calling people perverts for wanting it kept in the game.
Yeah, nobody said that they were sane people. Stunning and Brave Megatron says, people are misinterpreting these characters because aspirational heroes are the ones that already start out on the hero's path at the beginning of their story. It doesn't mean they are without flaws. Exactly. Stunning and Brave, Megatron, there's this misconception that golden boys do no wrong and that bad boys do no right. First of all, that isn't true. Second of all, those are very one-dimensional, boring characters.
Luke Skywalker did almost everything wrong.
Yeah, he really did.
He actually failed. It was Anakin who saved the day.
So there's a whole lot to love, but I'm not finding anything modern, really. There's not a whole lot that pulls me in. And I will definitely be bringing up on Saturday how, like, when we first started this whole thing, with our book baroness, like, she had the book club, and it was her and like 2 other friends, and they basically just got together and talked fantasy books that they liked. And it was The Ranger's Apprentice was one that so one of them is in her 20s, and she really likes the Ranger's Apprentice books. And so they were like, oh, well, like, let's read them, let's see what they're about, and we'll get together and talk about it. So they did. And then it turned into like inviting a couple more of us until there were 15 of us, or 14 of us, sorry. And now there's 15 of us. And this chick's only been here for 2 meetings, and I already don't like where we're going. I'm not looking forward to this at all. I don't want morally gray. I don't need sexy villains. Like, if part of your villain's plot is to be, I mean, if you want a femme fatale, go for it. If you want a masculine male who's going to disarm the women and make them fall head over heels for him, and then he's going to turn into, I don't know, like this, like the super secret bag. I can't even think. It's so late. That's fine. I have no problem with it. But when, like, that excerpt that I read where it's, is he good? Is he bad? Like, what's he going to decide? He slaughtered villages, but, he saved my life from that poison arrow when he didn't have to. So he can't be all bad. I'm really sick of that. So I do not have high expectations for Saturday. Outside of, I'm hoping a lamp gets broken. That's kind of my goal for Saturday, is to see a lamp get broken or overturned. I'll take an overturned chair. But yes, that is kind of where we're at. And like I said, I just wanted to talk about like books and the fact that there's so much better out there. You don't need these. And also, if you're into smut books, just be honest that you're into smut books. Like, I'm not going to judge you harshly. I'm just going to be like, cool, not my thing. Moving on. Or here's my thing. Maybe we can meet in the middle somewhere. But that's the other thing about these people. They never want to read anything other than what they want to read. They never want to compromise. They never want to let someone else have a say. And it's always about them. It's just so frustrating. And I hate it. But yes, so folks, we have been live for 2 hours. This is my second live stream of the night, so this is just crazy for me, but I appreciate so many people showing up. It means the world to me. It really does. This was not a nostalgia stream. This was like a vent and mock stream almost. But Stieg, why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
Friday night on Mora's channel, Jade Shadow, we're doing our top 10 guilty pleasure movie list.
Nice.
Which is going to be fun. We have to admit to the shit we watch, even though we know it's shit.
Your smut books. That's what you're gonna do. Smut books.
Oh, it's movies though.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Saturday, maybe with you, talking about the Return of the King on Teresa's channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this might be the last one. Because
I think next week will be the last one.
Okay. Yeah, because the ring's been destroyed.
Yep.
That's it.
Very cool. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you hopping on there for the last little bit.
I was feeling chatty.
Oh, well, I had a lot to say, that's for sure. And this is just and archetypes. So, folks, if I could give you 2 pieces of advice, just be honest about what you love to read. I mean, you don't have to be graphic or sadistic with it. You can simply say that you like dark romance fantasies. And most people are going to figure out what you mean. But just be honest about it and don't try and sell a lie to people so that you can like entrap them or be like, haha, I told you so. Like, no, this isn't, you're not a mustache twirling villain. It's not even close. There's no aha moment. So that would be my first piece of advice. And my second piece of advice would be like, be honest about what you like to read, but also find the genre that speaks to you. I'm not saying only read that genre, but that should be the heaviest part of your collection. Whether it's thrillers, sci-fi, steampunk, find the stories you love and read them constantly. Physical media.
When you like something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a choice. It just happens.
Yeah.
Which makes it weird when people, don't want to admit that they like this and that. Why not? It's not like you made a choice to like it.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens.
Yep. So, like, just go with your gut. Go with what you think would be interesting. Don't be afraid to try new things. but also be like, I'm not really digging this frog eye sushi. I have no idea. I don't even know if that's a sushi. I'm just throwing stuff out there. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here, so we definitely got to wrap up. But yeah, guys, just be honest about what you love to read and find what it is you do love to read, because it's a whole other experience when you're thoroughly enjoying the stories that you're taking part in. It's well worth the time, the investment, the joy that it'll bring you. I mean, it's just good stuff. Thank you all for coming for my second live stream of the night. This is insane, and this one was even longer than the first. So, you guys are amazing. I genuinely appreciate everything that you have done. Thank you for spending your time and for some of you spending your money. It means more to me than I could ever say. You guys are all incredible. I hope you find and enjoy excellent books. And I will let you know what happens with book club. I still haven't decided if I'm going to read the book or not. I only need, like I said, maybe 5 hours to read the whole thing. I will let you guys know. But it's all just go with what you love, and you will not be disappointed. So much love, everybody. Thank you for coming, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.